So I had started the shed probably, I think it's going to be 10 years now in the spring. I never dreamt about being a business owner, an interpreter, anything like that, because I worked at DigiKey. I had a wonderful job. I had amazing benefits, and I really loved what I did. Although because of a major trek, I suffered a stroke 10 years ago, and I ended up not being able to do what I did before. And the doctor had told me, well, you can't go back doing this. So because of life, I actually went through a deep depression. And my husband said, why don't you open up the shed one last season with Grandma Marge? So I was in there for about 2 days, and then I realized this is my passion. Unfortunately, we had young children, and my husband said, we're a double income household. You need to get a job. And I just remember praying and saying, God, you have to decide. You have to determine where this is going to go. So after my husband said that, he said, okay, you can try it. So I had $1,000. I started this business with $1,000. And the fact of wanting to prove my doctor wrong. So he said it's not going to last forever. It's only going to be for a couple months. Well, it's evolved over time into what it is today. So a year ago, the Hanson Construction, Mark and Katie Hanson approached me and said, hey, we just bought the Elks building and we want you to move in. And I said, okay. Had no idea what that meant, but I said, okay. And I was just down at the corner, right next to Budge Electronics, where Simply Andy's is right now, but I had outgrown it. So I called my husband and I said, we're gonna move into the Elks building. And he goes, okay. Well, because truth. So we moved in, we opened up on February 8th. Brand new store, about not quite 4 times the size of the old store. The inventory, let's just say it was a little bit more than $1,000 that I started with. But I felt it in my heart where I was like, I didn't climb, this is what we've created. The night before we opened, I'm gonna probably cry because we hung up a picture of Grandma Marge and Grandpa Si. They're the ones that started the shed 26 years ago. And we still have in the back their first chamber dollar that they were presented 26 years ago by the Thief River Falls Chamber of Commerce on their first, I think it's the first clear dollar. My husband hung it up. He was crying and he said, I'm so proud of you. Look at what you've done. And it's definitely been a little difficult because we opened up this store. The momentum was great. The traffic was great. We were having people come from 2 or 3 hours away because of what the shed, had turned into, and the momentum that we had created via social media and the community creating. And then COVID hit. So it has been difficult. We were closed. If you want to hear about a store that can make it during COVID, we're not quite there yet because COVID is still going on. However, we didn't climb this mountain to die on it. And we took a different approach, from the whole business standpoint. We took a different approach because we couldn't have our doors open to the public. And I remember thinking, how can I bring the shed to people? Because they can't come into my store. They can't see how amazing my store is. They can't see what my team has created. So I need to bring the shed to them. And we did things that maybe we'll, laugh about 10 years from now. We had children's classes, floral classes. If you were to look at it as a financial standpoint of it, a return on investment on the books, let's just say my banker and my accountant would have said, are you kidding me? But we wanted them to remember us when COVID was done. We wanted them to remember us when our doors could be open to the public again. And now, going into that, we're seeing that. It was hard at the time though. It was very difficult, being able to balance everything. And because it was looming over our head, are we gonna fail? I can't fail. I'm like, I suffered a stroke. I cannot fail. We don't know where it's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen, although we are gonna continue to do what we've did since March, actually even before March, because maybe it's COVID today, but it's going to be something next week. You're always going to have issues that pop up in our lives that we cannot control. We can't control the issue. We can only control how we handle it. So, and it's not Facebook official yet. It will be after this is announced. Moving into this space, we've actually outgrown it. Who would have thought? You know, we have outgrown this space. So, you know, then you face that issue. Okay, what are we going to do? We don't have any more room because our community has embraced us. So we don't know when it's going to happen because obviously things take time. We're actually knocking out this wall here. We're going to keep this right here. But if you've been to the new Fozzie's, you're going to know that there's an elevator. Right by the elevator, there's a door. And that's all going to be the shed also. So we are going to have, you know, our home decor department is going to be back there. So we're excited. And, you know, it's, again, the whole thing is, you know, if you watch the news, if you look at the papers, if you look at Facebook, you're going to see, why are you doing this? Why are you expanding your store? Why are you taking on more debt right now? Well, I have to believe that this is not going to last forever. So I am taking a chance, and I'm hoping it works, you know, and actually I believe that it will work because, you know, I should probably just keep my money in the bank. I should just continue to do what I'm doing, but I can't because I have to think ahead. I have to sustain myself short term to be able to pay my bills, but also think long-term investment. So we're proud, and I'm very proud of my team. And you know what? I'm proud of every one of you here. Angie, you have just been such an inspiration. You know, it's truth because she knows, you know, when I talk with the struggle that I have, you know, for instance, I had a big piece of equipment break down this last week, and I was telling Angie, well, she just didn't leave and not think about it again. She sent me a message and she's like, hey, I found this. Is this going to work for you? That's really what it is. It's all about working together. And so I thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And that's exactly what this group is all about, Allie, is that we're trying to get a group together that supports each other. You know, I mean, we all have small businesses and it's easy to be competitive. But in a small town and especially in the world that we're in right now, I think it's very important, you know, like you said, that we work together and we, you know, and there's been many times even, you know, Allie has messaged me or called me and said, why aren't you doing this? Angie, put your face out there. Like I'm not about myself. So there's many times that Allie's like, put on a live, do something. You need to get your face out there. So, you know, we support each other a lot. And, you know, I love the way Allie thinks outside the box. I see that, you know, a couple other people here have commented as well. Sarah Jacobson said, Allie, you're such an inspiration. Keep it up. Laura Brixton said, go Allie. You know, I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. We're looking for people to support each other and encourage each other, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, it's people have asked me, what is your inspiration? You know, where do you find inspiration? And, you know, yes, I'm a mom. I have a wonderful husband. I've got an amazing team. But I thought about that last night, and I find my biggest inspiration is also my biggest failure that I've ever experienced in life. Because I know where I've been, and I know I don't want to go back there. And so that really, to me, what is your inspiration? My biggest failure.